Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Uncut Eats with B. So today we're going to be making my version of the Saltfish Rundown, which is just pretty much saltfish simmered down in coconut milk. And we're going to be adding a little bit butter beans to that. And we're going to eat that with some boiled bananas and dumpling with some steamed cabbage and carrots on the side. That sounds good to me. Alright, so as you see over here already, I got some butter beans ready to go. We got some coconut milk there. We got some saltfish here, which is already boiled. And then I took the bones out, cleaned it up, the whole 9 yards. So this is ready to go. Of course, we got our seasoning and stuff here. Some pepper, garlic, onions. We got some green pepper also. Some tomatoes, scallion. All that's gonna go into the rundown. And we got a little bit of cornmeal and flour here, and we're gonna make some dumpling, which I already added to this bowl already, so that's ready to go. And of course, here goes the green banana that we're gonna boil along with the dumpling, and the cabbage and the carrot pretty much for the steamed veg. So first off, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and start off with the dumpling. So as you see over here, I have a pot bubbling already with some water. We're gonna go ahead and start making these dumplings, add them to that along with the green bananas so those can start cooking. So seeing that I have this here already, what you wanna do is you just go straight in and mix in that cornmeal and flour together. And then now we're just gonna slowly mix in the water into that. And you're just gonna slowly mix that in until this pretty much gets the kind of texture like Play-Doh, not too sticky and not too dry. As you see, I add a little bit of water, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and work this in. And you just keep adding until you get to that consistency, like I say, of Play-Doh in a sense. And you want to slowly add the water, because then you don't want to go ahead and add too much at a time, because then you might actually make the dough soggy, and that's not going to turn out right. Okay, I need some more water in this. And you want to go ahead and knead it a little bit as you go, and you'll kind of feel it with your hands. Like I said, you just don't want it to get too soggy, or you don't want it to be too dry either. So this looks like I'm about good here. I don't think I need any more water in this. And you want to go ahead and get all that flour that's in the bowl. Alright, so like I said, quick and easy. And you go ahead and knead that for a couple extra seconds. Alright, so that's ready. So we're gonna go ahead and add these to the pot right now. Water over here that's already bubbling. So what you want to do is just break a little piece off about like that, and you just want to do it in a circular motion in your hand until it kind of looks something like that. Now, hey, I'm not perfect at making dumplings now, don't judge, but they should look something like this, like a little wheel. And you just go ahead, put that straight in the hot water, and you just repeat the same process until you get all this done. We're almost done here. So for the flour that I use with the cornmeal, that look like that made me about 7 dumplings. So like I said, you know, you can eyeball it, and the more flour you use, the more dumplings you make. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to go in there with a spoon a little bit after that and go ahead and stir these, because they will actually stick to the bottom if you don't stir them a little bit after you put them in the hot water. Alright, so now we're going to head over here now and get these bananas together. Alright, here. So we're going to just use, I'm not going to use all of this. So let's go with about 5 fingers. So I'm gonna go over here to the wash and wash these. Let me get all that extra flour off my hands also. And I'll wash off these bananas and separate them. Alright. Now to get these ready, pretty much what you want to do is just go ahead and cut off both ends, and just take the knife and make like a little slit on the back. Now that will allow the bananas to peel easily whenever they're finished cooking. And you don't go deep with the knife, just barely, you know, crack the skin. Alright, so we're going to take these now, we're going to put them directly over in the pot of boiling water. I'll be careful while doing this, you know, you don't want to get burned with the hot water. And you go ahead and give another stir again. Now whenever you're cooking bananas and dumpling together, it's always good to put a little bit of vinegar in the water, just a little bit, because what that does is, you know, it prevents all that black stuff that comes from the banana while boiling, you know, to you know, all that stuff usually get on a dumpling. So in order to stop all that, you just add, you know, a little bit of vinegar in there, just a couple of tablespoons in it, and that you'll find will do the trick in keeping them all pretty. So now we're just gonna go ahead and cover this for now. All right, now let's move on. Let's go ahead and we're gonna get this rundown going right now. So what I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna go ahead and cut this flame on so that pot can start getting hot. And so I'm gonna go ahead and add that coconut milk to it. Now in the meantime, while that's getting hot, let's go ahead and cut up some onions. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut up some onions and the tomato and all these little aromatics. So everything, you know, like finely chopped. Go ahead and get some sweet pepper also. Using a sharp knife, you always want to take your time and, you know, cut what you're cutting. Don't try to follow them guys on TV and rush, end up cutting your finger off. Let's go ahead and get a piece of garlic here. Chop that garlic up pretty fine. You know, most people don't like to eat chunks of garlic in the food, so, you know, I like to cut it up really fine. little bit of time also. So now this pot over here is getting hot now, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of oil in there. Not too much, about 2 tablespoons, sorry. Alright. Well, that's getting hot. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple pimento greens to that. I'll throw those right in the oil. And even these little sprigs of thyme that's left over, we can go ahead and throw it in the oil too, because the coconut milk is gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and set that coconut milk in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of this onion and stuff right here. To the pot. That was just to get us started with this cream and stuff. Let's finish cutting up the scallion. Alright, we're gonna get this over here a quick stir. Go ahead and get this coconut milk in. And we're gonna throw this in here, pretty much all of this. I'm gonna reduce the heat to about halfway, and we're just gonna let this go ahead and slowly simmer down. We're gonna, like I said, leave that on medium and let that just simmer. But you want it to come down to about half of what's in here, to reduce to about half. Just let it go ahead. Alright. So now we got our aromatics and stuff here together. Oh, let me cut up a piece of pepper. Now again, you add as much pepper as you want. That's up to you. You know, we tend to like food a little spicy around here. But again, you don't have to add any pepper if you're not a fan of spice. So let me I'll go ahead and get all that cabbage and stuff prepared right now. Let's go ahead and get all this that we cut up. We'll go ahead and put this in a bowl for right now, so I can go ahead and use this cutting board. Get that cabbage and carrots together. Alright, so we'll just rest that right there. So now I like to take the all the skin leaves off. You know, the ones that, you know, quail, and you know, I like to expose that fresh cabbage there underneath. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and wash this off real quick, and we get this ready to cut up. I'll wash it thoroughly to remove any dirt or anything that might be on it. Alright. Shake that off. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this right down the middle, and that the heart right there, you want to cut that out. So I usually cut it on an angle on both sides, and that comes right out like that. Okay, And I think I'm only using about a half of the cabbage, so we don't need to use the whole thing. So I'm gonna cut this another half, pretty much, or I'm cutting to quarters. And we're just gonna go ahead and thinly cut this. I'm gonna see if you can see how thin this is. Alright, come on. I'll get you on the other side where you can see that. So you see, you just wanna thinly slice down an angle like that. And you just pretty much do that with the whole cabbage. Same for the next piece. That look all nicely cut up to me. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get my pot here ready, my little saucepan. I'm gonna go ahead and steam this in. And just go ahead and add that directly to the pot. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get that carrot together also. Now, got a carrot here. Now I'm gonna show you real quick how to get that, to clean off that skin on the outside of that carrot. It's pretty much just take the knife and you just scrape. And this is done a little easier with a smaller knife, you know, like I'm using my big knife, but if you use a small knife it's easier. And you just go ahead and just scrape the outside of it like that. And just keep turning the carrot as you go. You see, scrape off all that. The outside skin off the carrot. And you flip it upside down and just repeat the same process. Like I said, quick and easy. Now if you got a carrot peeler, of course, you can use that. Alright, that should be about good. Move this over to our cutting board. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off that back piece, and the same for the front. That's trash now. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and cut this carrot into workable pieces. So just cut it down the middle, stand it like that, and you can go ahead and cut into smaller pieces. And then we'll take those smaller pieces and then we'll just basically work them like that. We're going to cut them up pretty much into strips. Or you can cut them however you feel best. No special way of cutting these. Show you can also cut these like this on an angle. Like I said, there's no special way, it's all up to you. And then all I do is I just take the pieces like that, and again you want to be careful when cutting these things. Alright, so that's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and just take all this right here and go right in the pot. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab a little piece of onion also. You know, I like to season everything. Go ahead and just cut this up real quick. Right in there we can. some of this tomato also, that way we don't waste this. Alright, and again, we can't leave out the spice. Little pieces in that should do it trick. Alright, so this is pretty much ready to go. So all I'm gonna do to this now is I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of oil to it. Alright, kind of help it saute on the fire, and then we'll add a little seasoning and stuff to it once the star comes up on the stove. So let's get that there. Go ahead and get that going, and while we're over here, let's go ahead and check these dumplings and stuff, see what they got going on. Alright, and the banana, so they're all getting there. Alright, go ahead. We're gonna stir it every now and again just to make sure those dumplings don't stick. And then let's look at this coconut milk here. Go ahead and stir this. Oh yeah, see, it's reducing. Alright, so we're gonna let that keep going for a little bit. Alright, so now in the meantime, let me go ahead and clean up. This goes in the sink. You always clean up while you cook, so that way when you're done, you don't have a big mess to deal with. Alright, so now you can hear this start sizzling a little bit at the bottom, so what we're going to do is, give a little stir every now and then. So we're going to let that saute a little bit here before we go ahead and cover it down. We're going to add a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of butter to it. I'm going to go ahead and add a little piece of butter to that. Sauteing. Also, add a little bit of seasoning to that. Alright. And last but not least, we're going to add just a little bit of water to this. That's going to kind of help it to steam properly. Go ahead and cover that down. Let that do its thing. Let's go back over here and see what this. Oh yeah, this coconut milk coming down nicely. So I like to season my food as I go, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of seasoning. This cream here. Now I added canned coconut milk to this. The more traditional way is, you want to use the fresh coconuts. Go ahead and cut them and juice them and get all that fresh juice from them. But to save a little time today, we just went ahead and used the canned one. But Okay, so we're just gonna let it simmer down here for a little bit more, and then we're gonna go ahead and add the saltfish to it in a little bit and let that simmer down.